Hi, I'm here with Pete Kuman, who's a co-founder of Optimizely. Pete, could you tell me a little bit about what Optimizely does?
Yeah, we make it easy for our customers to optimize and personalize the experience they give their customers on their website or mobile applications.
Fantastic. And what's one of your favorite memories from early on in Optimizely?
There are a lot. I think probably the one I'm most proud of is when we helped the Clinton Bush Haiti campaign raise a lot of money for earthquake victims in 2010. So Dan, my co-founder, and I were coming off the back of two startup failures, and we had just started working on Optimizely. And we were building an easier way to run A/B tests on your website. And a few weeks into the project, we got a call from somebody on a newly set up organization, the Clinton Bush Haiti Fund, that was created to try and raise money for the victims of this horrible earthquake in Haiti. And they had one beleaguered IT guy, I think, who built this website and was struggling to keep it up. And they were getting hundreds of thousands of visitors every day. And they called us because they had worked with Dan on the Obama campaign in 2008, and they wanted to improve the website. They wanted to earn more money for these earthquake victims from the website. And so over the course of several days, we barely slept at all. We built the beginnings of our platform, and then we ran a bunch of A/B tests on their website. What I mean by that is that we took a look at their website and we came up with hypotheses of how could we make this better. And maybe it's adding an image of earthquake victims, next to the credit card form, or changing the layout, or making the text more readable. And after a whole bunch of these experiments, we were able to measure that this particular change actually improved the conversion rate. This one harmed it, this one improved it. And we were able to actually raise their dollars per eyeball, essentially, by 10%. And so we actually helped them raise an extra $1 million for the victims of the earthquake.
That's incredible.
It was awesome.
So how do you handle setbacks at the company now?
One of the best pieces of management advice that I've ever read, actually my co-founder Dan spoke with Dick Costolo at Twitter, and Dick said something that has stuck with me ever since. And it's that the hardest thing about management is making everyone else understand what you understand. And when you think about this from a problem-solving context, first of all, there are always problems. There's always something blowing up or something going wrong. And it's really hard as a growing manager. I'd never had any experience doing this. My co-founder hadn't either. It's a really, really difficult thing to train yourself to, when something goes really wrong, don't try and solve the problem yourself. Instead, think of your job as getting everybody else to understand as much as they can about the problem. And so you might think that as your job as a leader is to sort of present a happy face and make it seem like everything's rosy all the time to motivate people, but it's actually not the job. The job is to make everybody as aware of the problems as possible and to help get them rallied around solving them instead. And so that means confronting things openly, being aware of reality, and trying to communicate as much as you can with the team about it.
Awesome. Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm here with Yuna, who's a founder of Locket, and I'll also be speaking to her co-founder, Kaushik, later in the course. Yuna, can you tell me a little bit about Locket and sort of how you got started?
Sure. So it's a company that's 2 years old. I used to work in an investment bank, and that was my first job out of college. And the idea was, this lock screen that we're staring at 150 times per day, it's nothing better than just a photo and a clock currently. Can we do something better than that, was the idea. So then I quit my job promptly, and then I started building the team. So that's where I found my co-founder Kaushik. And then we moved into a 2-bedroom apartment where I lived with 5 other guys and 3 dogs, and then living out of the bedrooms and then working out of the living room. So that's how we started. And the V1 model was to, hey, can we show ads on the lock screen and get paid from advertisers and pay users to just rent out their lock screen. So that was our initial start. Started off as like a very ramen noodle startup, kind of like a project. And then it just suddenly became a company after we started fundraising and such.
Great. And how was the early user adoption? How did you guys start finding users and getting that traction?
It was very abrupt. We thought that we would get 10,000 users in the first month, and that's how we calculated all these other ad sales and all that stuff. We ended up getting 25,000 users on the first day, and then we ended up getting like 1 million users from that V1 model, which ended up failing. Which is why we pivoted into a different model, which is showing content on the lock screen. That app is launched. It's called Lock It, and it's launched in the Google Play Store, and it will show relevant news on your lock screen. So that, like, and every time you wake up your phone, it'll show different news, so that you're like keeping the know.
Great.
Yeah.
And so you originally had the product which was ads based, and then you moved into news because you thought that was bigger traction. It was something that was in demand and people wanted.
So the way in which like our thought process worked was we couldn't pay. So when we were doing the paper ad swipe model, what happened was because we got so many users in a short period of time, it was impossible for us to plan out the next ad cycle, because we, like, without knowing how many like millions of users we'll have the next month, it was impossible to sell the ads in advance. And also not only that, because advertisers pay us 3 months months after the ad campaigns have been finished. So we were in business of paying users first before getting paid from advertisers. So we needed to raise a lot of like millions of dollars. And we're just like 3 months old company. So we had to make a decision. Okay, we're not going to do this anymore. Then what is the other type of value that we can provide on the lock screen? And the idea was, okay, we just tried out the economics model, which is like paying and rewarding users. Can we deliver like the right content at the right time and delight users that way? And then when we were pivoting, we showed like we were just testing out by showing some of these other articles, like Justin Bieber just went to jail, or like, did you know that this airplane had X, Y, and Z? And the engagement on those articles were really great. So then we went to talk to these media companies who wanted to partner us in order to distribute the content. So that's kind of like the transition in which we kind of made, and also user base changed a little bit too, because when we were paying users, it was the users that really valued that $3 to $5 per month. Whereas as we were moving towards the content model, it's the users that are hungry to learn more and just like get these content.
Oh, interesting. And Lock It isn't your only product, is it?
It's not.
And what's the other one?
It's called Screen Pop.
And what does Screen Pop do?
Screen Pop allows you to send a photo directly to your friend's lock screen. So it's a very new product. We launched it like about 2 months ago. It was like out of a hackathon, which is what you were talking about before. So we were working on Lock It app, and then we had this idea that like, hey, can we get each Lock It user to invite other friends? But as a single player experience, which is what Lock It is, it's really hard to get people to like spam their friends and like inviting them. So then the idea was like, okay, can we do a lot of other features during the hackathon and come up with a viral feature? And the idea was like, okay, I would love to send a photo directly to your friend, like to my friend's lock screen, so that it's the first thing that they will see. So I can snap a photo, like snap from the lock screen and like take a photo and then send it to my friends, and it'll get it like pop on the lock screen.
Wow.
Anyway, so that's the Screen Pop.
It's that instant photo gratification, sending it to your friends.
Yeah, it's a real instant messenger.
Oh wow.
Way,
yeah, right on your phone.
Yeah.
That's great.